What's up, guys? Well, I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about some tips if you're planning on going to a rally, whether it be your first or not, whether you just got a motorcycle or your friends are finally pushing you to go to your first rally. That way you can enjoy yourself at these events. I've been to small, large, sometimes by myself and sometimes as a group. And I've always had a good time at these rallies, and I want you guys to as well. So I'm gonna lay down some tips so that way you guys can. First tip I got for you guys is planning. Plan out your trip. Go out to the event websites, look at their calendars to see what is going on at these events. Write it down, whether it be in your phone, so that way you have location, time, and get to see what you want to see at these events. So that way you're not scatterbrained, you don't know what's going on, and you can enjoy what they have to offer. But normally there's so much going on at the larger events, it's hard to do everything. So pick out some of the things that you really want to see, and that way next year you can go back and see the things that you didn't get to see. Into planning though, you want to prepare. So look at the weather and what it's forecasting, because even like Daytona, it's normally warm or cold or rainy. So it's good to kind of take heated gear or some thermals and rain gear, because the weather can change because it's so early in the year. Now, like the summertime events, it's not so bad, but looking at that and planning for what kind of layers you need to take with you. As well into planning, take some water with you, some food, pack it into a saddlebag somewhere on your bike, because you might be out riding, you might not be close to a gas station, and two, some of those vendors can get kind of pricey. So that way you save a little bit having some snacks, like going to a gas station or Walmart or picking them up before you even leave the house will make it a little bit cheaper on you. So that way you're completely planned out for the trip and not just, hey, last minute, I'm gonna go down there and just do whatever. It makes it a whole lot better. Now, planning ahead while you're at the events is crucial if you're going to be drinking, especially the larger events. Now, at smaller ones, if they're like in a campground, it's not a big issue because it's all right there. But at the larger ones where you're not at your hotel room, you're out at the bars, planning ahead, like if you're going to drink, get there early where you can sober up. Uber is a crucial thing because you don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to get a DUI. You don't want somebody else getting hurt. So plan for that, because we all know we want to drink a little bit, being at the events, we want to have a good time, but be safe about it. Tip number 2 I got for you guys is lock your stuff up. Even though the motorcycle community is a great one to be a part of, there are thieves out there because you have nice things and they don't, they want it. So you want to make it as hard as possible for them to take anything. Now, at a lot of the larger events, they have security at some of the parking locations. So they're keeping eyes more on your bike, not specifically your bike, but in that area. So that way it makes it harder for thieves to steal something because they don't want to be watched. As well as, don't park your bike by itself, park it more in a crowd, because people walking by, that's just that many more eyes in that area. Even though you're going to be away from the bike maybe for a few minutes, or you might be away for a couple hours, lock everything up. Lock your forks, lock your saddlebags, ignition, whatever you possibly can. Even though it can be broke and still stolen, it takes that much more time to do it than just rolling it away. Now, you could even take it a step further and get some U-locks, lock it on your brake disc, through your wheels, whatever it might be, even a steel cable. So like if you're at a hotel room and it's just you and a buddy, not a lot of people staying there, lock your bikes together. They would have to take 2 bikes, they would have to cut that chain off, cable, whatever it might be. You're making it just that much harder for them. Now, another big one though on locking everything up is your helmet. And I guarantee we've all done it, of just leaving our helmet on our seat or next to our bike. Well, That's a real easy item for somebody to walk off with, because it's just sitting there, and at a rally you got plenty of people with helmets. No one's gonna notice unless it's a full custom helmet with your name on it and somebody recognizes it. That's a real easy item to walk away. So get yourself a helmet lock so that way it's locked up, not just laying there. And again, you know, no one wants anything stolen, but you want to make it as hard as possible, no matter what it is. Tip number 3 I got for you guys is just go to the events, the rallies, whatever it might be, and be respectful. You give respect to get respect, and you never know who you're going to run into at these events. MC members, club members, you just don't know. So you give respect to get respect, and you'll have no problem. If you have an ego or think you're a hot shot, just leave that at home. Go there to have fun, and you'll run into no problem. As well as be mindful being around the bikes. You'll see so many different kinds, some you like and some you don't. So don't go disrespecting somebody's bike, especially in front of them. It might not be your taste, and a lot of this should be common sense, but I have seen it happen. And disrespecting somebody's bike, and they might have worked on it a long time, but it might not be your taste. You might exchange some words or get into a conflict with that person, so just don't do it. As well as don't go sitting on somebody's bike. You can ask somebody and they can tell you, hey, yes, you can sit on it to test out their seat or their bars, but don't just assume and go sit on somebody's bike. And I've had a buddy that happened to. Now, he knocked him off his bike, but I'm not saying that'll happen to you, but it could or cause a conflict with that person. So don't sit on them. And also being around the bikes, be mindful what you're doing. You don't want to knock one over or damage their bike by accidentally dropping something on it, because some people spend some mad money into their bikes. Even if they don't, it's not cheap to fix the bike. And a lot of times they could not get it fixed at the rally. So you don't want to be that guy who damaged somebody else's bike, because then you get labeled and people see that, and that's just not a good time for you or them. Now, some rallies offer a sound competition or loud pipe competition, and these are perfectly good times to see how loud your system or your exhaust is. Not everybody wants to hear how loud your exhaust or sound system is just riding around. And in some places, you could get a ticket for this. And I guarantee you don't want to go to these rallies and end up spending money on a ticket. You'd rather spend it somewhere else. So be mindful of that. Now, at smaller rallies where it's more on a campground or somewhere like that, it's not as big of an issue. You're just going to really annoy somebody, but you don't really have to worry about getting a ticket as much. Now, I hope these tips help you out for planning out your next event, rally, whatever it might be, so that way you can have a good time, because that's what it's all about. If I didn't have a good time at the events, I would have stopped going, but I hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you guys next time.